Alright, welcome back everyone to yet another tournament game on the channel here. This is going to be the second game that I played against Meow 7 in the private tournament that's being hosted in the Enemy at the Gates Discord. This one does follow immediately after game 1, where we did beat Meow 7 on Holzbach. We flipped sides for this best of 3 games, so we'll now be going up against the British and their overwhelming might. So we'll have to be on our A game to take them down, especially when they're in the very capable hands of Meow 7. Should be a fantastic game, so buckle up and enjoy. So jumping on in, we are playing on one of the new maps, Solingen Factory. Meow, of course, went the British. I went with the Finnish Lend-Lease Doctrine. It seems like the Finns are a fairly capable counter to the British in some of the doctrines because of their kind of even cap weight. So we'll see how we do. Meow and I were talking pre-lobby about this map and what map to play next, and as we're kind of going into here, this map is a little unbalanced, maybe in the German Axis favored side because of these buildings here that just kind of overlook the point, whereas the Allies have a massive factory complex that you really have very few areas to kind of hide your guys and kind of take up good positions. So very effective for Germany. Not so much the Finns, especially considering I don't have MG42s. So we'll see what happens. But Meow does get a pretty good rush up the main street, which I kind of wasn't expecting. And then he's got a second squad that's also back in kind of the factory complex. So he does have numbers on us pretty much immediately. And he's got guys that are going to kind of hold down that side building and just look right down on this main point. So very effective for him. We did call a second squad, though, and we're going to try a push right onto his point, kind of through this secondary walled compound. I want to put as much pressure on him as I can. That's what kind of seems to be a decent counter to the British, is just kind of matching their pressure if possible. And the Finns and kind of their infantry are a good match for that, thankfully. So it's going to be a very heavy infantry micro intense grenade game that we'll have going on here. But we have pretty much cleared this point to start. So we will, at the very least, decap it. I haven't played Finns recently, so my third squad that I buy here is an AT squad, an anti-tank squad, which I probably wouldn't have bought. Comes with 2 AT rifles and some Panzerfaust. The Panzerfaust are good, but I don't think I would have needed the AT rifles this early, considering I'm just facing infantry. So kind of bummed about that, but I am able to get a secondary squad out as well, so we'll have 2 squads kind of rush in the middle. And I definitely need it, considering he's taken full advantage of my lack of infantry and kind of pushing into my buildings. Although this MG gunner does easily take out these 2 guys, which is very nice. And now we'll just spread out the AT rifles, because why not? And we were able to cap this point. Meow is starting to push it in to try to take it back. We're going to try to get some cheeky grenades going. Get a guy. Maybe get a second guy here. He's going to have numbers, though. We're only down to 3 guys. So delaying action. We've got to take advantage of the time it's going to take for him to retake that and retake middle here. And I wanted to try to get this wall open to try to get to the other side a little easier, but unfortunately the Panzerfausts are not strong enough, so I'll have to figure something out on that. Right now that wall's kind of helping us too at the same time, so it's not the end of the world. We do manage to keep 1 guy alive thanks to that factory building on the left in the point, so we are still capping it, so it is decapped. And that scout squad is going to kind of hold off some of Meow's guys, thankfully. He's got guys still in this building. I want to try to take it out. Trying to use the anti-tank grenade, but we do miss, which is really unfortunate. And we're just going to continue to funnel guys kind of into the center and into this midpoint. I've got to retake it, especially because he is now decapping his side as well. So that was kind of short-lived. But so far, we've got a fairly decent hold in this middle area. We've really been able to push kind of on our side and hold down our side, which is very effective. But there are quite a few ways that Meow can just kind of take advantage of our lack of infantry, especially on a map like this, where some of these buildings are a little harder to destroy. And if that grenade was just timed a little better, we could have had a great clump of guys. We might still be able to get it, but I don't hold the grenade long enough, unfortunately, and he does take advantage. He's able to kind of spread some of these guys out. And that guy laying down on the fence just can't do anything for some reason. I hate that. It's very frustrating. That fence just blocks. Super unfortunate. Little wooden fence. But I'm going to suppressing fire these guys so everyone's firing that way. So hopefully we can take these guys out as soon as possible. Meow kind of has that same thought about the wood. Although some of his guys did survive. We are at the 5-minute mark, so I do see the Bren carriers. So I now know that he is going the irregular doctrine. So as soon as I saw those, in my head, I immediately figured this was going to be a very tough game. My fear against the irregular doctrine is obviously the Churchill Mark 8 and how indestructible that is. Going against that when playing as Germany, I figured it would be just as rough playing as the Finns, although I was hoping kind of this map might help me out in a way. So I did vote for this map since we were playing in the ranked queue. Looking into kind of counters for these Bren carries, I probably could have used the AT rifles that I had if I still had the guys up and alive, maybe getting them into these back buildings. But the Wasp just has such a crazy arc and range, and Meow is just taking full advantage of it, unfortunately. And he's able to just fire straight over these walls, and I'm unable to do anything. Which is super unfortunate. But we are kind of playing a cap game at this point in terms of our values, thankfully. And I've still got these guys just harassing them over there. Just 4 guys is enough to kind of put some decent pressure on them still. And if we can get rid of these 2 that are currently on the point, we might even be able to decap it. We do get 1 and we do neutralize it, but so the guy's still alive. If we had been able to get him, no, we miss. Oh, so unfortunate. If we can get him, we'll be able to decap. And we do have a Jakari squad with all SMGs here. So we're going to try to make a push through this factory like Meow's been doing and try to... I really want to take out this Wasp. And all these guys usually have AT grenades too. But this Wasp is just doing some crazy work to us. So we're going to call up a mortar. The Lend-Lease 10-centimeter mortar. And try to do some work with that. And we might be able to decap here. We do. So we're able to decap. So we are still 1-1. And that minor pressure also is going to allow us to retake mid as well. Because now he's going to have to focus over there and do some microwing there to try to take us back out of his point. So definitely worth it. Still trying to deal with the Wasp. We do miss, and because of all the smoke, combination of mine and his, I do fail to notice what Meow is doing. Sneaky cat called in an engineer truck, which I do see on the mini-map. However, He is really utilizing that to his benefit and making a very smart move on this map. And we'll see here, he's now deciding to destroy all of these walls. So no more cover, no more ability to kind of hide there. And in the smoke, he has built the Great Wall of China. He's destroyed one set of walls in favor of his own walls. So now we're in a really unfortunate position. The mortar's coming up, bringing up an AT squad to kind of deal with these wasps and the carriers. But now, other than the buildings that I have to kind of protect my line of sight into this middle point, he's got not only a defensive position that's well kind of going to prevent me from pushing in, but it's also going to be a hindrance trying to get these guys out of it. So we do rush up with the AT guy, and we manage to just take out the crew. We don't destroy the vehicle. We just kill the crew. The luck of that. Super unfortunate. Only happens to us. And we can see on the mini map he did just recruit as well. So all that for nothing. But right now, we're just going to continue to funnel these kind of veteran squads in, which is the really nice thing about these fins. We can kind of keep up in terms of infantry count against the British here. And it is very fun to play against Meow. He is a very good player, and he's also very funny. So it's always a great time when I can go against him. We'll have a lot of banter throughout our games, which is nice. Makes it more enjoyable. But we do take out the wasp, thankfully. It is on fire, so we will be done with this one. Although, by this point in the game, he can probably just call in a second set of Bren carriers if he wants, considering this was prior to the limit on them being added. He does have a squad rushing kind of to the side, along with some more guys reinforcing the middle. So now we have to kind of deal with these flank guys. And on the mini-map, we can also see the next 3 Bren carriers coming, along with another mortar carrier. So he's got 2 mortar carriers up. He's got another wasp. He's got 2 regular Brens. We fail with the AT grenade there and kill ourselves. He's rushing guys in. And now we do get a very lucky, actually, mortar shot there on the regular Bren, which is fantastic. However, he's doing what I would have done, and now he's rushing in a Bren to try to run it over. We miss with a Faust, which is ridiculous. AI can't hit anything. He runs over the Bren. We throw 2 AT grenades, end up taking out a guy. And now he's just wreaking havoc in our back lines with this thing. I've got AT coming up, but it's not up to deal with it. I'm clicking on anyone that's got a grenade to try to deal with this thing. So unfortunate. He's just in here running through. I'm pretty sure he's direct controlling as well, and just running over everything. We do finally get it, but our mortar is gone at this point. And he's got guys who knows where now. And I see a massive squad coming on the right. I know I have nothing other than infantry to deal with it, so I am going to call in a cheap Panzer nest and drive this thing up and put it kind of in between the points now. I want the Panzer nest to really kind of just deter him from making a push. And then hopefully it'll be a nuisance because he's going to need some heavy HE or flames, flamethrower or something to really kind of deal with it. I mean, he's got things to deal with it. That's the issue. But if I can at the very least deter him from going to this point, that's my plan. And it does seem to work. Although I'm sure he didn't have to run fully from it. He probably could have just smoked out and kind of hid, but you know, we'll take it for what it's worth. If he wants to back off and give it to us, we'll take it. But he's going to town with the other Wasp, running right through the lines. We do get it in a hail of grenades. Easy, very easy for him. I don't know if that was his plan to just self-sabotage me, but yeah, probably lost about 5-6 Shikari there in our haste. And I don't need the truck because the Panzer Nest is up, so I'm going to do the only sensible thing that I can with it. I'm going to try to run over these sandbags to get rid of his cover. We take out one layer of them, I guess. Figured it would have done more. It does not. The truck is getting hammered by the mortars on the 2-centimeter mortar carriers. We do lose the truck. I'm going to try to get in it to self-destruct it because I don't want to take enough CP. We do self-destruct it, thankfully. And I see a very convenient engineer truck that we have here. He seemed to left it in a very decent spot for me. So we're going to try to use this to run over the walls now. Although this thing is slow. But we're going to use anything to our advantage. We're going to try to run him over. We turn the corner, and the mortar carrier takes out his truck. So, not much happening. But we are at tier 2 now. I do see a Sherman on the field. I'm not sure immediately if it's a DP or a MP Sherman. I know the Irregular Doctrine does have the Crocodile, so that is in my mind. But to counter that immediately, I do go with the Panzer IV. I thought that was the most sensible call-in that I could have done at this point. Should be able to deal with the Sherman. I just got to get it up there as quickly as possible. And then we do see that it is the Croc. So we're going to get that AT guy to run up there. And we're going to immediately switch rounds and try to deal with this thing. AT guy seems to miss. Sherman does, or the Panzer IV does not. So we should hopefully be able to deal with this thing. Minimize the amount of damage that it's going to do. And his flame is very strong. But we do need to get more guys into this middle. And he's got another Wasp, so I know I've killed 2. This would make 3 call-ins, so he's gone 3 carrier call-ins and a Croc Sherman. He's got 3 mortar carriers out on the field, which is very annoying. Although it's going to eat up ammo quick. And we do manage to, not decrew at least, but we do manage to take out the Wasp. And we do get hit with the sleepy gameplay. Especially considering this is just a full-blown cap and decap game. We're just going back and forth at this point. No one's really gaining an advantage. And I call him out to bring out the weapon or the Mark 8, considering I know he is that doctrine. I was expecting to fight it. I wanted to fight it. I need to figure out effective ways to counter it. I've come across a couple ways, but it's still pretty rough to counter. Pretty difficult to actually come up with a, a foolproof counter to that thing. So I'm kind of urging him to bring it in and fight me. But Meow does have his own game plan, as we'll see coming up. But the Mark 8 would have probably been a pretty good shout on this map, I would think. Because he would have been able to just lob shells over all these buildings and these walls. Whereas for me, with the Panzer IV here, to try to counter that, I'd have to get up. I'd have to get closer, probably equal range, and then try to use the heat rounds. But I want to finish off this Croc. I know he is repairing it. And I really can't afford to be spending all this time just kind of dedicated to it. So I'm going to tell him to just go attack ground and try to deal with this thing. Because he is pushing up on my flank into the middle. And this is the tough part because there's no real easy way to defend this area other than maybe the buildings on this back line behind the street. That's just out of view. But he can just kind of run straight up in there unless I get a good defensive position. So we haven't seen a new push on our point. We're going to try to move the Panzer nest over slightly. I wanted to kind of put some pressure on middle. I can see that he is repairing the Brens, including the Wasp. So I'm going to try to deal with those. I want to deny him anything that I can. But he just has guys everywhere, which is really unfortunate. We're going to try to get a Molotov over and into this Bren. We do hit the front of it, although I don't know if it's going to catch on fire, so I'm going to throw the second one just to hopefully be safe. I can see an ammo truck down the street, so I know he's out of ammo on his mortars. We managed to maybe hit it? I don't know what we hit there. We hit something. I saw the puff in the back, so we may have just hit the ammo itself. Doesn't go up, which is really unfortunate for us. So now he is going to have a mortar barrage continue to spam us, but thankfully, with the finish cap weight, we can kind of neutralize this middle point with just a couple guys. And he is smoking out in that area as well with a big clump. And we do see what appears to be a second Sherman. And we do see that it is another Croc. So he did not go with the Mark 8. I respect him. He's gone 2 crocodiles. 3 mortar or 3 carrier Collins. And he's probably got enough for the Mark 8, but considering he just called that in, we'll have to wait a little bit for it with the cooldown. And with our 2 guys that we've kind of kept around his point, which is such a good thing for us, we are able to get in and start decapping his, which is why it's always good to just kind of keep up the pressure. Even a couple guys, because you may find opportunity like this sometimes. And he's just sprinting in anyone he can to try to recap, although he's not really microing them, unfortunately. So we're able to kind of just spray these guys with the Suomi as they're running in. But this is good for us at this point. We're going to recap mid. We're putting pressure on his point. The squad that we just saw crossing the street would have been going for our point, but now he's got to divert it, most likely because he doesn't have the numbers. So this is fantastic timing. So now he's got to get over to retake his. We've got a clean 2 cap going. He's recrewing the Brens. I'm going to try to take this one out with a Faust. I do miss. He's got another Wasp, or he's recrewed the Wasp, so the Wasp is back up. It's repaired now. I'm going to try to move out the Panzer IV to deal with that. I do see a single guy on my point, so I don't know if there's more or not. And apparently his mortar carriers are just wasting their rounds on the Panzer nest, so hey, if it keeps doing that, it is absolutely worth it to me in terms of the value that we're getting out of it. And we do have a Swedish squad here that we are now, Swedish veteran squad here that we are now going to push into his point and kind of reinforce it. I want to put up as much pressure as I can. We get some good grenades and Panzerfaust usage. And I think if we're able to kind of take this and clear these guys out, even though we're losing the middle, it's worth the trade at this point. I'm happy to just kind of keep trading these points back and forth and just kind of keep putting the pressure in the distance. I have a plan, and I will say it's definitely been made easier for this one because we're not facing the Mark 8 Churchill. But that's nothing to say that we're, you know, we could still be on the back foot because of the Brits and their cap weight and their infantry. And I mean, he's still got 3 mortar carriers, Sherman Crocodile with an incredible range on the flamethrower on it. He could still go with the Mark 8 at this point, or knowing what else is in that doctrine for tier 3, we're probably going to see a land mattress, I would guess. But we'll see. So we've got fairly decent positioning. We're going to try to catch the squad as they come in. And we're also bringing our squad that we had originally sent back to our point when we saw that one guy. And we're going to try to make a flanking maneuver on his carriers. We do catch a couple of his guys out on the main street. Or I guess they catch us in theory. So we are going to take some losses. The mortar carriers are immediately going to see us. And they're going to start hitting us instead. We are able to clear out a couple of these guys. I see out of the corner of my eye what appears to be a captain on the main road. So he does have an officer that was realistically spotting the Panzer IV. I don't think he notices that my guys are this close. He's probably microing his point. I rush up one, take out one of the mortar carriers. I'm lobbing an anti-tank satchel at the ammo truck, the other carrier. We do take out one of them and the ammo truck, and we just get the company commander. So he is down 1 officer, which is fantastic. No idea where the other one is. He may not even have it at this point, but I will take that as a win. 1 less to spot with, 1 less to get in the point. And I think he's busy microing, so I'm trying to take some sneaky shots at the croc. But there is just a lot of intervening terrain, unfortunately. And he has pretty significantly wiped out our infantry numbers with our 2 pushes here. So we do have to be very careful because we are very low in terms of manpower on the field. And if he really pushes that squad that is kind of in between the 2 points further towards my spawn, it can be pretty rough for me. But he does get a pretty nice shot. I don't know, probably HE. Maybe an HE shell from the Sherman. Considering we're yellow, no crew dead. So I'm going at him with the heat rounds again, trying to get it over those wood logs. We do not really do much, unfortunately. So we'll back off. And he is doing exactly what I feared. Out of the corner of my eye, I do see in the mini-map the 3-4 guys. Doesn't look like it's a full squad, but 3-4 guys going into my back line and my spawn. So now I have to divert to deal with that because I do not want anyone in my back line when we get to tier 3 especially. So I'm going to divert the squad that I was going to push in the middle. Have to deal with that. I've got to go now make sure my entire line is pretty much cleared. All the while microwave middle so I don't lose it. So we're doing fairly well. Almost 28 minutes in. We do have a pretty nice lead, I'll say, for where it could be against the British. From my experience, most games against the British go pretty quick. I don't normally make it. I will say I don't normally make it to 28 minutes. Almost a tier 3 with my DP still intact. Normally I'm wasting all my DP to try to counter whatever I can. So this is a pretty good game, arguably. And now that we've wiped out those guys that were in the back spawn, I feel a little more comfortable, and we're going to push both of these squads now up, kind of in between the 2 points towards his point, try to retake that ground and maybe put pressure on him. And it's all about playing for time at this rate. We're doing a decent job at keeping the score fairly minimal in his favor, in my favor. So he hasn't been able to get a very, very large lead, if any lead at any point, which is fantastic. But we do have to keep playing these numbers and keep getting the numbers up, because he can easily match us with how cheap his infantry done a decent job at clearing out most of the guys, I would believe, at this point in our line. Although we have taken a lot of casualties doing so. Really unfortunate. But I believe once this guy is kind of taken care of, we'll have cleared him. And then we can kind of focus more on trying to retake mid. Because he does have quite a few guys there. And the Croc still in the back as well that we can see. But we do get a couple cheeky grenades over, which is nice. And we hit tier 3, and this is where my plan of action really comes to fruition. We're going with the Panzer 38H Wolfram. I believe that's the actual designation. I think the designation's a little different for, yeah, it's the Panzer 38H 735 designation with the Lend-Lease. I don't know if the Finns call it something different, but a little captured French Hotchkiss tank with 30 centimeter rocketting on them. Not always the best kind of a beam unit, but it certainly gets the job done at the moment for clearing the point. So we are now going to cap it with our cap weight, thankfully. And we did take out pretty much the remainder of his defensive terrain there as well, which is really nice. So it did its job. My next goal, I've got to get it to take out that Croc just with where the Croc is sitting. I don't want to risk the M4, especially because I don't know what he's calling in at this point for his DP unit. Although I do see it on the back in the map there. So we did get a quick glimpse, even though we are a little busy, my friend. We have the shot completely with. No idea what that was. That guy is just terrible. He deserved to die, unfortunately. But we did, to get back to that, see the land mattress far, far away. So it is coming. Trying to get a cheeky shot with Panzer IV over this wall. We do miss. Thought I had the line of sight. Did not. But we do have, thankfully, plenty of vets in the point. And Meow is also creating a smoke screen for us, I believe. I don't think those are my smokes. I believe that is his smoke. So we're going to actually kind of try to take advantage of this and get some more of these guys up further and try to continue taking out these mortar carriers because they are very annoying. A little direct control. Still got my eye on the Croc. I want to take that thing out as soon as possible. And we unfortunately run right through where his carriers are. We do a 360. 360 on it. Try to take it out. We do decrew it. Hit him with the no-scope, although I don't think it was really a no-scope. I just think we aimed. But we do manage to take out the last mortar carrier. And I would assume he is probably out of DP, considering that mattress is on the field as well. There are the shots, and I did miss this. I did miss this in game because I thought it was just devastating, and then he was holding it off. But he actually killed it, as we saw in the kill feed. He was. He told me after the game he was way too close to, I guess, one of the factory walls, and during that barrage, he blew himself up. So he got one good salvo off and lost the land mattress, which is really unfortunate for him. Great for us, really unfortunate for him. But we do have some pretty good positioning with some of these vet SMG guys, which is really nice for this factory, because once he can get up on those walls, you can just kind of utilize them, which is another reason it's a little unbalanced towards the Axis favored side. He still has the Croc rolling around, and he's going to clear off the majority of these guys, but thankfully we do have the rockets up just in time. We're zeroing in. We're going to take the shot. I'm really praying we can hit this thing right now. We clear off the infantry, but we are just short with our salvo. So 15 imp kills. He's alive to live another day, which is super unfortunate. We're going to call in another Panzer nest to try to annoy him. And he says he's going back to the fuel truck for the third replenish. So I do guess that Croc eats fuel very quickly, or it just has a very limited supply. And I'm going to try to take advantage of the timing that he needs to hopefully refuel. And the distraction of the Panzer IV here. And I'm going to try to get this Panzer nest up as far as I can. I want to get it around the factory walls here and just kind of get it a nice clean line of sight right into the point. But apparently the Croc's already back up with flames. And I don't know what that angle is on that thing. That thing is almost full, like, full sideways on me, but he can still hit me. Crazy. But we're going to try to take it out with the Panzer IV. We missed with the first shot. We do hit him with the second shot, though, thankfully. And hopefully with this next one, we can cook him off, and we do. So, elation. Big win. We have now finished off both of the Crocs. Unbeknownst to me, he has also lost the land mattress. And we're going to suicide the truck into the mortar carrier to maybe take that thing out as well. If we get lucky. I think he notices what my plan is, unfortunately. So I doubt it works. Yeah, looks like he backs off just in time and he does no casual kick. But at this point, I am feeling pretty good in terms of where we're at, especially not having to deal with the Mark 8. I do see the Daimler Dingo coming up my flank. Thankfully, because of the guy that was in his point, is the only way I saw that. If I didn't have that guy there, that thing would have had free reign and would have been in my spawn, probably taken out the Hotchkiss. So I'm pulling back the Panzer IV. I'm calling in 2 detachments of AT rifles. I pulled off a Panzer Faust as well, and we do get it, thankfully, before he can get up. And the unfortunate gameplay continues for him. Almost 40 minutes in, and we're only... I mean, we're not even at 500 points. So... at this point, I do respect his decision to not go with the Churchill. The Churchill would have made this, like I was saying, a very, 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 very different game. Much harder to probably deal with at this point. He's rushing in pretty much everything. Another Daimler is coming up the main street as well. Hopefully this Faust can deal with it. We do get him. I would have pulled up the Hotchkiss if I needed to. We do still try to take a shot at it. But the crew does bail as it rolls into the building and flips over. And we'll use the Hotchkiss to clear off the remainder of the point. And as of this point, we are pretty much at GG, I would assume, considering the number of units for him has just significantly decreased. So I do ask him if we are calling it. I'm going to move larger amounts of guys over to his point. He is adamant to fight to the end. So we will see what happens here. But he's rushing up another Daimler to still try to take out my weapon. My secret weapon here. Panzer IV is not in a position to counter. I have no idea why he's turning this way. The Daimler has much quicker turn radius than this Hotchkiss does. He does get the gunner, and he does destroy it. Unfortunate. And now he calls. So we will not make it to the 1,000-point mark. But that is it for Meow. We do move on 2-0 in this tournament. See you in the next one.